Hey beautiful souls, it's Maria, and today I want to share a profound realization that is often deeply misunderstood in our spiritual awakening paths. And it has something to do with the nature of spiritual awakening itself and our role in supporting others. For years after I started my spiritual journey, I would feel a sudden frustration, subtle, but definitely there. You know the feeling? You offer profound insights to somebody only for them to go whew, way over your client, your families, your children's head. And these insights you share, these tools, they're so honed on your own experience and they're brilliant, but you see your client being stuck in the same loop, reliving the same karmic cycles again and again. Oh, I've been there. But here's some insight for you. I felt that either I wasn't getting through or that they weren't getting it. But through my own cycles of conscious awakening and reflection, I've learned to have a more compassionate understanding. I understood spiritual awakening is not a single event. It's a series of unfolding layers, like peeling an onion. Each new insight, each new moment of increased awareness is another layer. You see, many of us lightworkers, our spiritual awakening began with an aha moment, that initial surge of interconnectedness or the feeling that there's something more to this world than meets the eye. It often ignites a burning desire to help others, to help them see, to help them evolve and to grow. Maybe your awakening led you to becoming a Reiki practitioner like me. Perhaps you became an intuitive guide, helping others tap into their own wisdom. You may be a crystal healer, a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher, an empathic coach, or just somebody who holds space for others with unconditional love and acceptance. My path has taught me that just as inner awareness and awakening are always evolving for us, it is for everyone else. And this is at the core of what I want to share. You cannot force somebody else's eyes open unless they are ready to see. What if we saw these moments where we see these people we care about repeating their patterns, not acts of failings, but as learning opportunities and divine appointments with us? We met these clients for a reason. They may have never had an awareness of somebody with your awareness or your perspective, and that's okay. Think of it like planting a seed. When your inner wisdom and light is sought, when someone comes to you for help, it's an opportunity to plant a seed of insight. You plant the seed, you offer the tool, and here's the key, you have to let go of expectations of how or when or if it will ever bloom in this lifetime or the next. Because destiny has its own plans, and it's not our job to fix anyone or to force a flower to bloom when it's not ready. Our sacred role as lightworkers is to plant those seeds and to trust that the universe will provide the water, the rain, and the right circumstances for it to take its own course. Profound changes like the breaking of karmic cycles or repeating patterns happen when we take radical responsibility for our role in these patterns. And this begins with deep inner work, shadow work, courageous looks at our own lives. And it's about being vulnerable with ourselves, looking at our role in those dynamics and taking a hard look, even when it's uncomfortable, seeing the patterns in your own lives and noticing what keeps showing up and asking why. And here's the hard one. It's being with the discomfort. Instead of immediately reacting, distracting, or soothing away the uncomfortable feelings, give them the space to breathe, both for yourself as you observe that behavior and also for your client, for them to feel safe to do that. What do you do when someone you care about, someone who's even asked you for advice, seems to repeatedly continue doing the thing that they know now not to be the right thing and is causing them so much hardship, ignoring your advice, or behaving in a misaligned way? And this is a powerful lesson in detachment for all of us, because when somebody repeats those patterns, it's a sign that they may not be fully ready to step into the responsibility for themselves to change. They may be consciously or unconsciously seeking validation for their existing patterns, or perhaps just not ready for the necessary discomfort that comes with transformation. And here's how you can communicate that authenticity back to them without necessarily without dishonoring your own feelings. And when they come to you again with the same issue, you can say, I hear you. It sounds like you're still struggling with whatever it is they're struggling with at that time. It shows that you've acknowledged them and that you're listening without necessarily validating the concern or the repeating behavior. It also shows that you're not immediately jumping in to solve the problem for them. And if it's appropriate, step 2 is to briefly reiterate, and briefly is the keyword, the advice that you've offered to them previously. And you can say that by saying something like, as I mentioned previously, it might be good for you to examine your role in this dynamic, and then you can shift the focus on their readiness, focusing on empowerment rather than fixing it yourself. And this part is key. You can say something like, I deeply care for you and I want to support you. I've shared all that I know and that I can on this topic. I'm always here to listen, but I may not have any new advice. My guidance still remains the same, and it's yours to embrace when you're ready. Focus on your own energy in this final step. Do what you need to do to protect your own light. You can't force somebody else's awakening, but you can continue to hold space for them, encourage them, and be compassionate with them. If they're still working through that issue and it's taking them time, release the burden of trying to fix them. Remember, as you continue to vibrate in your high vibration, you'll continue to be a great guide and example for them to follow. And as I say that, I'm humbled because I think to myself, this is exactly what my spirit team must be thinking, or our collective spirit teams must be thinking when they communicate with us, and we're just not ready to take the leap. If you're new to spirit guide work, I have a video about that, about they may be communicating with you. They send us messages all the time, especially our team. They may be knocking on the door for a long time, and it may take a lot of time, sometimes sooner, for us to answer the call. And that's where I talk about it in this video right here, about how my ancestors have been insistent for a long time for me to start a community of light workers and change makers, and that people that gather in this community are part of an ancestral lineage that have been called to bring light into the world. And if that sounds like you, I encourage you to listen to that, because there's a reason why you're watching this video right here up until this point. So coming back to other people's spiritual awakenings and our role in supporting others in theirs, remember, your role is not to drag people in. Just keep planting those seeds of light. Keep nurturing your own growth, and trust that everyone is exactly where they need to be on their own journey. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me today. If this has resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your own community, and subscribe for more insights about our unfolding spiritual journeys. Until next time, keep shining your beautiful lights, my light worker friends. Namaste.